For decades, Bluewater Ready has meant safety at sea. But today, it's mostly a sales pitch, not a survival guarantee. Many boats pass as offshore capable on looks alone, hiding fatigue and flaws that turn invisible until they fail far from help. So how did this trusted term lose its meaning, and what is actually hiding beneath the surface? In the 1830s, sailors spoke of blue water to describe the vast open ocean, territory where land vanished and only skill, luck, and sturdy construction stood between a crew and disaster. The phrase carried weight because it was earned, not claimed. By the 1960s, pioneers like Lynn and Larry Parday were crossing oceans in small wooden boats, logging miles that proved their vessels could endure years of pounding waves and relentless strain. The Pardeys kept daily maintenance logs, checked every fitting, and trusted simplicity over gadgets. Their 24-foot cutter Seraphin had no bolt-on keel and no elaborate electronics, just a hull and rig that survived by design and attention. Lynn Pardey later wrote the advice, "Go simple, go now," challenging the idea that features alone could define readiness. As more sailors dreamed of distant horizons, the language of adventure seeped into boatyards and brokerage offices. By the 1980s, Bluewater Ready began to appear in listings and ads, hinting at a boat's supposed ability to cross oceans. Brokers found the phrase useful. It sold the idea of safety and adventure in a single breath, even if the boat had never seen open water. In time, the meaning drifted. What once described a history of proven voyages turned into a checklist of visible features, solar panels, windvanes, radar, signs of ambition rather than evidence of endurance. Today, Bluewater Ready is everywhere, promising capability with little connection to the hard-won lessons of the past. A row of solar panels, a sturdy dodger, maybe a radar dome. These are the details that catch the eye and fill listings with promises. But the real test of a boat's endurance lies deeper, hidden beneath the surface and out of sight. Structural engineers look first at the hull-to-deck joint, where the forces of the ocean try to pry a boat apart with every wave. This seam, often bedded in sealant and clamped with bolts, must absorb thousands of flexing cycles as the boat twists and pounds offshore. If fatigue sets in, cracks can spread silently for years before showing a single drop of water inside. The keel attachment tells a similar story. Every time the boat heels, the load path runs from the lead or iron keel, up through bolts or stubs, and into the hull. A 4-ton keel can generate tens of thousands of newtons of force in a single gust. Over time, even a well-built joint faces resin creep, micro cracks, and the slow grind of cyclic stress. It is not the storm that breaks the boat, one naval architect explains. It is repetition, the invisible work of the sea, day after day. Cosmetic upgrades, new electronics, windvanes, fresh paint. Do not touch these hidden structures. Offshore strength is invisible until it fails. Fatigue, not drama, is what most often brings boats home early or not at all. A pre-purchase or insurance survey is designed to spot visible flaws, not to guarantee offshore survival. Most surveys last only a few hours, relying on what the eye can see and what tools can reach. Moisture meters and ultrasound devices help, but they have limits. They might flag a damp deck core, but miss a hairline crack deep inside a hull, or a corroded keel bolt hidden beneath layers of sealant and paint. As one surveyor put it, a survey is a snapshot, not a guarantee. Some of the most serious failures start where no probe or camera can reach. Chainplates, the steel fittings that hold up the mast, often disappear into deck or bulkhead. Corrosion inside these blind spots can go undetected for years. There are cases where a survey found nothing wrong, but a routine haul-out months later revealed chainplates eaten away from within. Keel bolts may look clean where they emerge, but the real trouble can lurk beneath the surface, only exposed when a bolt is removed or the joint is stripped back. Non-destructive testing can catch some problems, but not all. Ultrasound might reveal pitting on a keel bolt, yet early-stage cracks or fatigue in fiberglass remain invisible. A past survey reduces risk, but it does not certify a boat as ready for the open ocean. The invisible work of fatigue and the passage of time leave marks that standard inspections cannot always find. For owners, the gaps left by a survey are not just technicalities, they are blind spots that demand ongoing attention. Routine shapes survival offshore. On a modest sloop named Puffin, the owner keeps a spiral-bound logbook tucked beside the chart table. Every January, he records the torque readings for each keel bolt, noting even a half-turn difference from last year. A spreadsheet tracks every new piece of gear, from anchor chain to jerry cans, with weights tallied against the boat's safe working load. Nothing is left to guesswork. Each Saturday, rain or shine, the crew runs a drill, reefing the mainsail, simulating a man overboard, tracing the path from bunk to cockpit in the dark. These habits are not about fear, but about building confidence through repetition. The owner's approach is quiet, but relentless. Before each passage, he inspects the hull to deck joint for any sign of movement, checks chainplate covers for water stains, and tests bilge pumps with buckets of seawater. When a new solar panel goes up, he logs its weight and reviews the boat's trim. No upgrade is allowed to push the boat beyond its design limits. Maintenance is not a chore. It is the rhythm of life at sea. This system does not rely on a surveyor's report or a broker's checklist. It is built on years of learning, small corrections, and a willingness to look for problems before they grow. The boat's readiness is not a static label, but a moving target, shaped by the owner's attention and the crew's practiced hands. Offshore, the difference between hope and preparation is measured in habits, not hardware. ISO Category A is the formal benchmark for ocean-going sailboats. To qualify, a boat must be designed for winds above 40 knots and for significant wave heights over 4 meters. These numbers sound reassuring, but they only capture a snapshot of what a hull can withstand in a laboratory setting. The standard sets minimums for hull thickness, stability, and drainage. But it does not account for the slow toll of fatigue, thousands of cycles of flex and load that wear down structure over years at sea. A naval architect warns that ISO Category A describes what a new boat should survive on paper, not what happens after 10 years of pounding. Classification Society rules, like those from Lloyd's or DNV, go further by modeling fatigue and by specifying scantlings. But most production yachts are not built to these voluntary standards. Proven voyage history remains the best evidence of true endurance, because no certificate or label can predict how a boat will age under real-world conditions. A broker might point to a row of upgrades and call a boat Bluewater Ready. A seasoned passagemaker, though, will ask what has been neglected, what has been checked, and what is still unknown. Offshore, belief in a label can lead to shortcuts, skipped inspections, overloaded lockers, or a maintenance log left blank for months. The ocean does not care about checklists or sales language. It tests the weakest link, whether it is a forgotten keel bolt or a tired crew. 3 rules surface, distilled from decades of hard-won lessons. First, inspect what you cannot see. Open panels, check bolts, and look for the fatigue that hides beneath the surface. Second, keep your loads conservative. Track every addition and know your limits. Third, rehearse your responses, practice drills, review routines, and treat preparation as ongoing, not a one-time event. These habits do not guarantee safety, but they close the gap between hope and reality. The choice remains: trust the label or trust the work that stands behind it. Right now, the ocean tests every assumption, whether a marketing label or not. When preparation gives way to belief, safety becomes a story we tell ourselves. Offshore, only reality wins. The real measure is not how a boat looks, but what survives mile after mile beyond the horizon. Sail thoughtfully.